Hey guys, get ready with me for a Sephora shopping event that I'm hosting with my Makeup Academy. I want my makeup to look snatched, so we're going in for more of a soft glam today. I started with Jelly Pop Primer from e.l.f. and now this is Halo Filter from e.l.f. I'm using it to underlight my skin. Sometimes I use this as foundation, but today it's more of a glow underneath my foundation. That shade was number 4, and then I go into my fancy foundation, the Armani Luminous Silk in shade 7.5. It is a little bit tan for me because this is my summer shade, but I'm wearing a turtleneck, so you can't tell. I love this foundation. I have the small size. I only use it on special occasions. Next, Natasha Denona Concealer. This is pretty new to me, but I love the formula. It is full coverage, but so smooth and not cakey at all. So I have a pretty bright shade, so it kind of tones down the tan skin. I do want to go potentially to one shade up above this one, though, because it is pretty bright. So I'm blending that in, and I use a little bit of Too Faced setting spray before it's completely blended because I want to make it last, and this is a technique to do that. Just apply setting spray to your brushes or onto your skin before you set with powder. All right, so everything is melting into each other. Then I go in with KVD Beauty. This is like a liquid contour. I got it from Ipsy. I bought it from their storefront, and it was such a good chance that I took because I love it. Do you see how it blends so easily? So I'm using this on the perimeter of my skin kind of to bring the brown back to my skin, bring the dimension back. And this is a great brush for it. This is the Esum Cheek brush. It's really small and it's dense, so it kind of pushes the product, but not too dense where you can't like blend it out. So this is my first contour. You'll see me go in with 2 other products because we're making this a really snatch today. We're not just like doing my lazy girl 10-minute makeup routine. This is now a separate nose contour. I'm using the Milani Cream Blushes. This is the contour shade. It's giving more cool tone, so it looks a little bit more natural. I hate a warm nose contour. It looks weird to me. I don't like the reddish striped look. This looks like a shadow. Just use my ring finger to apply. And then we go in with our cream blush. This is from Patrick Ta's Just Enough shade. I love this color. It just looks just so chic and effortless. It's not too bright. It doesn't like take away from the whole look. Because the whole look I'm going for today is kind of like neutral mattes, almost like 90s vibes, because I'm trying to get sophisticated. Last contour. This is the LYS Cream Bronzer Stick. I think this is shade, is it Harmony? Yeah. And this is going just above my cheekbone because I think it's a little bit darker and it gives a little bit more sculpt. I could have used that all over, but I'm just being extra and using a lot of products. Taking what's left on my concealer brush to use in an eyeshadow primer. And this is the Too Faced Neutral Nudes or the Natural Nudes palette. And it's a really gorgeous neutral palette. It has a lot of wearable shades. I'm sticking with all the mattes. First, I go in with this warm tone medium brown with my fluffy Sonia Kashuk brush. It's my favorite crease brush for this purpose. I bring it above my crease to make my eyes look bigger and then down into my nose contour. Secondly, I go in with the Natasha Denona concealer again, and I'm using a small curved concealer brush to kind of begin the soft cut crease in the front of my eye. This is a technique I use to make my eyes look bigger. It's not anything harsh, but it's just kind of like a base for the nude shadows that I'll put on after. And I just take it from my tear duct into my inner lid, slightly above the crease to again make my eyes bigger. Set that with the bone and light pink shade in that palette to kind of give again neutral mattes. And I'm using a small shader brush that's pretty dense to really pack that on. We're going in now with like kind of like a pinky peach that's beginning the smoking process. So I go in with a blender brush and create that outer V. And as you can see, I'm blending and blending and applying at the same time, so it's really soft. I go from the lightest contour eye shade to the darkest to kind of build up dimension. And then this is like the first step of the outer V, and then I'll go in with a darker brown when I do the smoky liner. So we're using Urban Decay's 24/7 Pencil and Whiskey. Love this. This is a great staple brown eyeliner. And it's really easy to blend, but it lasts. That's why I love it. So I use that as my base. I do like a little wing, and then I come in with an angled brush, and I set that with a dark brown matte shadow from the palette. And this is kind of locking it in, smoothing it out. I couldn't find my pencil sharpener, so I was kind of making the line a little straighter using that liner brush. Same thing on the other side, just kind of like a quick wing, and then setting it with the brown shadow. This is locking into place. And then I go in with a pencil brush with that same brown shadow. And then this is how I kind of smudge and soften that line. So it's darkest at the bottom and it fades lighter at the top just by kind of like using different tools and a different pressure. Now this is the Urban Decay Whiskey liquid liner at the very base. Because like I said, darker at the bottom, the most pigmented at the bottom, fading into the pencil and fading into the shadow. And that's your smoky wing. So it's a couple of steps, but it's worth it. Next, I move on to the brows. I'm using the Kosas Brow Pop. I know they have the Nano, which I'm kind of curious about. So maybe when I'm done with this, I'll get the smaller one. But I use this one because I love that it has a small angled shape because it's a really quick way to fill in my brows. As you can see, I'm just making them a little bit thicker. My microblading has faded over the years, so I want my brows a little bit bigger. And using really, really soft hair-like strokes so I don't have a hard line because brows can get really heavy really fast. So you want to use little pressure to kind of draw out that outline using my pinky balancing on my cheek for control. So as you can see, what I do is I underline the bottom first, then I do the top and I bring the width, especially in the front, a little higher. And then I get into the tail and I use the brush with a smaller amount of pressure so that way the tail is more thin. And now I go through and I blend because I don't want it to be any hard lines. I just want it to be like a background fill. And then I go in with the Maybelline brow pen and I use this to add the hair light contrast strokes. So I really tiny flicks, again, following the direction of the hair growth. And this is what makes it look real. It kind of gives that microblade look. You can be a little bit messy, a little bit more organic with this because you don't want it to look too perfect. Now I'm concealing with the Natasha Denona concealer. I actually don't normally do this step, but I was just being extra today. So just a teeny bit of brow highlight, brow cleanup. And then I go ahead and set that again with a nude shadow from the palette. It's this matte bone color, only a little bit. This kind of lifts up the eye as well and sets that concealer into place. So easy. It's just like a really clean look. As you can see, my eyes look so much bigger just by bringing the shadows up. And then I'm filling in the gap between the warm brown in the crease and the nude brow bone because there's still a lot of space there, so I want to fill it up. Now I'm putting on some lashes. I'm using these, it's kind of like a crisscross in the front and then a dramatic cat eye. They're not too long, but they're just glam enough to kind of give me that like snatched eye look. I use my dark callus lash glue from Amazon and just pop these on. I don't apply mascara because I'm lazy. And now that's it for the eyes. Cute, right? So now I'm going on to my translucent setting powder with my Velour Powder Puff. This is my Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Light Medium, my new favorite powder. I like it even more than some high-end powders, to be honest. Really finely milled, and this is a good highlight shade for me. It's setting basically where I put that Natasha Denona concealer in my T-zone and under eye. And those are the areas I want to be bright. Those are the areas that I want to set because they're the oiliest and they tend to crease the most. So once that's on, I use Laura Mercier's mineralized powder that's a little bit darker for the rest of my skin because I want the rest of my skin to stay true to my skin tone shade. This is a L'Oreal Infallible Concealer, and not concealer, bronzer and tan, and I use just a little bit to set the contour. This is a perfect color for me right now. I'm so glad that I discovered it. It's a really beautiful shade and really easy to blend. Now I set the blush. I'm using the Milani's Baked Blush and Berry d'Amore. It's beautiful. It's the mineralized finish gives such a soft kind of sheen to the skin. The shade is different though. I have the original and it's a little bit warmer, but it's okay. Gorgeous. So locking that Patrick Shaw cream blush into place, and I use this Pixie Glow blush just as a cheekbone highlight because it gives a little bit of glow. Saturate that face in setting spray again. Now that all the powders are on, I want it to kind of just melt together. And last step is lips. So I'm using a new pencil from Makeup Forever. It's the Versatile Chestnut shade. People don't talk about this shade a lot. They talk about Limitless Brown, but I actually like this better because it has warmth to it, where Limitless Brown is a little bit cool. So this is a great replacement for MAC Chestnut. Such a good lip contour shade. So I'm being really careful. I'm overdrawing just a little bit, but I'm going to blend this out with a different liner. So I'm glad I have finally tried these Makeup Forever pencils. So I also bought this one recently. This is Anywhere Caffeine, but it's the long wear version. So I have the original one in my kit. This one's for me because I do not like to reapply my lip products. And I'm using this to blend out the Versatile Chestnut because I don't want it to be a dark line. I just want it to be a lip contour. And it kind of creates this beautiful nude ombre look. And then I'm going to add a little bit of gloss and a little bit of pink warmth using the Laneige lip balm. So it gives just enough color to the lips so it's not too nude. And that is it for my makeup. So that took me about, I would say 20 something minutes, not too bad. And then quickly, I don't have time to mess with my hair, but I did these overnight curls. And it was not giving exactly what I wanted to give, but I have to work on it because I feel like it was way too fluffy on the sides. I want volume at the top, but it was the good thing about this the way of doing this is that it rolls the hair away from my face because I hate when my hair falls in my face. So this is what it looks like. I did like mousse the night before and then rolled it, but my hair was actually already curled from a flat iron. So it's really, really curly now. So I'm going to loosen up those curls, brush through it with a paddle brush to kind of make it more fluffy. And you'll notice that when I do it, all the volume is on the side, which I'm going to try to fix with a little bit of a Mika volumizing spray, but it's definitely um, more side heavy. So I'm just brushing out these curls. And like I said, I don't really have a lot of time. If I did have time, I would actually bust out my curling iron and like put more volume at the top. So now I take the, I think this is L'Oreal. It's a smoothing cream to kind of take that down. Oh, actually, nope, just kidding. This is a Mika volumizing spray. So I'll apply this at the roots. Almost like a dry shampoo, but it works better for volumizing. So just kind of like trying to lift it up, give volume up there, scrunch it. Helped a teeny bit, but working with what I got. And then after this, I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal smoothing cream. This is great for flyaways, but I'm using it actually kind of just to take down the volume on the sides. So I'm just raking it through and it's just kind of taming it into place. And this is what my outfit final looked like. Isn't this little Shein outfit adorable? Wore it with my fleece line tights. And it was a vibe. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, ciao, Bellas.